picking up so much on lack. I do also feel like a lot of us are having trouble, some conflict with heavy emotions. I do feel like this has to do with force versus power. There's so much of us that is it's very uncomfortable. And when I pick up on these messages, some of these messages come to me very, very heavy. And the way I take them in and try to interpret it in the best way I know how. But also I pick up on images, and by having to pick up on these images, I know that I have to be using like very powerful words, you know. It is so liberating at the same time. Because it is better to be self-aware than to not be aware at all. I do also feel that self-awareness is our gift to the world. Self-awareness, our own self-awareness is our gift to everybody. Because it comes in its purest form. You don't have to try so hard. There isn't compromising in it. It's having to just be. And so much like how it is with force. When you feel force, it doesn't feel like it's of importance. It doesn't feel like it's of value. It doesn't feel like it's also in flow, in time. Force can very well feel uncomfortable, right? Our instinctual, our instincts tells it so. And we know when our instinct tells it so, it's to be true. And so when we have other energies around us that is not confirming that truth, it can feel very uncomfortable, and it can also make you feel unsafe. It's very important that we stay in flow and in time when we are in flow, because when we are in flow, we're in time, we're doing something with purpose, we're moving with purpose, with meaning. Excuse me. This is a very powerful read. I also am picking up a lot on relationships. Very powerful energies coming together, relationships ending, but a lot of us also coming out of trauma bonds and getting together, coming together again, and being more in understanding. I feel like a lot of this heavy energy that I'm feeling also is like good energy, brighter, lighter energies. I feel on the other side of force, there is power. And what comes of power? Where does power come from? And what is power? I think it is of joy and happiness and compassion and kindness. I feel like it is by having to give compassion, give kindness to others as well. Power is the opposite of force. Power is simply is, and could very well be dangerous. It also depends on how we use it. I do feel like this unease that not many of us stay in our power, and that some of us also using our power to be destructive and not to be understanding and not to be mutual. There is no mutuality. There is no having to meet in the middle to understand, but more so having to be destructive of one's own success. And I do feel like this has a lot to do with like self-deprecating. When we sit too much in our trauma and we're not transmuting that energy, we can very well get into this loop of self-deprecating. It's very dangerous to the mind and the heart. Catch on to you in your physically. I do also feel that the truth and a lot of the truth are revealing. So many of us have distanced ourselves from people in isolation, and it is very essential, but I think that it had more to do with control and having self-control. Appreciating more of your own self-awareness and your own, appreciating your space and knowing your intuition and knowing your self-awareness in your own space. It is so important, it's so vital for us to sit in our self-awareness and get to know that too. It's one thing to be around people sitting in your self-awareness, but it's also another to understand where you are with your self-awareness and what you are doing with this. I feel like this also comes with power. When we sit in our self-awareness, when we are tapped into our intuition, this is our inner strength that we're using, that we are sharing with the rest of us, right? This is our wealth here on the planet, and we are striving for that even more. A lot of us are thriving in this, but we are still having trouble with integrity. I'm very big and have been, because I too have been practicing on gaining self-respect. And I've forgotten, for so long, I've forgotten what this meant to me in my life, because I was so clouded by people's judgments and criticisms about who I'm supposed to be, instead of just knowing me as I am. That too fueled me up and motivated me to step in more into my self-awareness, knowing that I have this for me. What can I do to extend this to everybody else, to the collective? I truly, truly believe that in having to share these messages, this is not only, it's healing all of us. When I do these messages come to me, I'm just naturally flowing, letting the words out. This, to me, in this moment, I feel like this is what was suppressed for so long. Got the justice. I have cards laid out here. There is a lot in the 3D that is not happening, that should be happening. but it's not happening for a reason.